Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
So the future of college football forever going to change after this weekend, OB, with a brand name and Notre Dame not getting in, A&M getting the 7 seed, going to be taking on the 10 seed Miami, which probably was what it should have been. Mm-hmm. That being said, I think there's going to be some major ripple effects after this.
Yeah, I think so. First of all, I think they're going to expedite the expansion of the playoff, much to our friend Josh Pate's chagrin.
Yep.
But I think it's inevitable. And I think what Notre Dame's doing is really what a lot of teams are doing. They see no value in the bowl game. And I kind of agree with it. I know they're getting.
You don't see value in the 2 extra weeks of practice?
You know, I used to think that was true, right? And then Jimbo Fisher opted out of a bowl. And I'm like, and I remember asking myself, well, yeah, I know you're like have quarterback issues, but if those 2 weeks of extra practice really that valuable, would any coach pass it up? I mean, what are you going to forget?
Didn't they pass it up, though, after at least a week of practice? I feel like they passed it up with a week.
You know, I'm one of those guys that think that 2 weeks of practice in December probably doesn't. It's probably way overblown.
See, I don't.
In September.
I don't, and this is my why behind it. That's 2 extra weeks of touch points with your players. And in today's transfer world, you know, I think out of sight, out of mind becomes an issue. And I think being in front of your guys for 2 weeks longer and also just continuing to nail down the message. Now, the reality is college football is going to have to do something about their bowl system.
I saw Auburn go 3-9. I think it was. Maybe it was 4-8. 3-8. 4-8. 3-9 in 2012. And come 6, and so they weren't in a bowl, and didn't get that 2 weeks, and then came 16 seconds from winning the national championship the next year. Those extra 2 weeks didn't hurt. Missing those extra 2 weeks.
No, but you also had a generational player, and you know,
right? But he wasn't there in this. So you know, who are you going to bring in? Because I think those extra 2 weeks mean less now that you have transfer portal. Because, you know, who are you going to add to your team? There's guys that you would be running out there, maybe some wide receiver that you're giving extra practice time that you're going to replace in the transfer portal.
Well, but these coaches also, part of the reason they get these exorbitant salaries is because of the money that comes in from the networks. And the networks are not going to be happy with Notre Dame and Baylor and Iowa State and whoever else has opted out.
Right.
And so they're going to have to figure out something.
Yeah, they're going to start paying the players from the pool of money that the bowls pay out. Something that I've suggested for
a
years.
long time. Well, let's when we think about this path, I was thinking about this on my drive here. I don't know if there's a favorable draw you could have had for A&M as a 7 seed. But I do love the idea that if you're successful at home in your first game, and that's still a big if because I think Miami's got a lot of talent. If you're successful, you're going to be in the state of Texas for your first 2 games. I think that's very desirable.
Okay.
I also think of it as like for you to win a national championship, you're going to have to go through the 1 seed, the 2 seed, and the 3 seed probably, right? Like that is a very not advantageous way of going about a national championship Because if you are, let's say, by the way, the 10 seed, the top 10 team, which you expect in the playoffs, much more advantageous to be playing a group of 5, a Tulane. But you knew that was not going to happen after last week's rankings.
Right. Of course it is. I think everybody would have rather played James Madison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Tulane. You're in the playoff. You got to beat good teams. And, now you got to beat the number 2 team. But if you don't have to beat the number 1 team in the second round. I think the number 2 team's still better than the number 1 team.
Even though they...
Yeah. I think the Ohio State coach just went brain dead, and he caused his team to lose that game.
But Indiana's for real. I think they're for real.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
If they play again, and I hope they don't, I think Ohio State will win, much like Ohio State lost to Oregon last year, and then when they had a second chance, they beat them.
Right.
I think it'll be the same thing, but they didn't. And A&M, you got a tough road, but don't lose to Texas, and you have an easy road. So you did. I don't want A&M to be, and I'm not saying you're doing this, right? And I haven't heard this from A&M any yet. I've heard some people complaining a little bit. Oh, we got an 11 o'clock game night. And are you guys ever happy? I don't want A&M to be like some of the teams, Notre Dame, that is whining about their situation.
I think there's just too much whining in general in college football right now.
Yeah.
And like everybody seems to whine. Texas has if you whine, you probably have reasons to whine. But after a while, you got to turn the page and play the freaking game.
And so does everybody. There may be upsets. Don't you be the upset team.
Yeah.
Unless, except in the second round, if you get there, then pull off the upset. If you get by Miami and play Ohio State and win that game, then you're the team that everybody's looking at that say, okay, look out for them. Because I guarantee you today, if A&M gets by Miami, they're going to be underdogs to Ohio State.
Yeah.
And if you beat Ohio State, that still comes with a lot of cachet, and that will be the fist on the desk saying, all right, these guys can win the national championship.
While I don't think Ohio State fears anyone, they shouldn't. They're they were number 1 99% of the season. They are the reigning national champions. I think they look at their bracket like, wait a second. This team was a top 3 seed all year long, and we're going to have to face them in our first playoff game? Like, in a way, A&M is, I don't want to say equal to those 3, but they were perceived as equal to those teams all year long until the Texas game.
I think Ohio State is like Georgia and teams that are used to winning and playing. I think their reaction is, it's going to be Miami or Texas A&M. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Not like, I don't want to play this team. Because,
No, but I guess what I'm saying is it's kind of like whenever in the NCAA tournament, basketball tournament, where a team that maybe slips a little bit midway through the season, and now you got to face them a little earlier than expected. It's like, that's a little harder than I expected in my first playoff game, but all right, let's go lace them up.
Yeah, I think, I just think Ohio State's been in this situation so many times that that's a program that there's, okay. Again, everybody, with the exception of the bottom 2, is good.
Yeah, I think if you're Miami, you don't care who you were going to play, right?
You're just glad to be in.
You're in, right? Because you were not sure. I think they got it right. I don't like how the theatrics of the process.
Yeah, the process, they butchered it. Hunter Yurachek, who, again, I don't know how anybody can take this clown seriously. Talking to you, Hunter. A couple of weeks ago, he was saying, we just think Notre Dame's the better team. And they said, yeah, but Miami beat them. They're like, well, we just think Notre Dame's a better team. They're playing so well, da-da-da-da-da. And we don't have them in the same pod as Notre Dame, so we can't compare them. Like, what are you talking about? You can't compare them. So then BYU loses so bad, and they drop, and now they're in the same pod. And you say, oh,
well, now
they won. But okay, but they had won they had beaten Notre Dame 3 weeks ago when you were saying, "Oh, we just think Notre Dame's a better team."
Yeah.
You know, so this guy was a really terrible. He was terrible in that role.
Well, they haven't had a good person in that role ever.
Look, it's a tough job, but if you can come out and explain things to where people can understand, I think I understand why they did this. I think where they probably fumbled was keeping Alabama in. But do you really want to take a team out that because they lost their conference championship game?
You do not want to open
because
that door.
you got Notre Dame opting out of a bowl game. You want to see somebody opting out of a conference championship game, especially when these are all athletic directors for the most part in there, and athletic directors are all about making money.
Well, there's going to be ripple effects because of this, OB, because had it been Alabama, then the SEC for sure is going back to 8 regular season games and no conference championship, right? Now I think you leave the door open for 9. But the conference championship, I don't know. It's becoming more and more apparent that maybe you don't need it.
Yeah, and I think that's a tragedy for college football. Your conference championship should mean something. If you're not having a conference champion, then why are you having conferences? Why don't everybody just schedule, an independent, have an independent schedule, and at the end, I don't get it. Why are you? That's why, and it'll never go there, but why I always said 8 was the perfect number, but no use looking back, even though I always do. So if you're going to keep Alabama, and they can come back and say, yeah, wait a minute, Alabama did beat Georgia, and then someone else could come back, and they also lost to Florida State. So. But I think it really, to me, it should have come down to, is it going to be Notre Dame or Alabama? Because we had the head-to-head. So, I'll say this. I'll applaud the committee for this because I never thought it would happen. I never thought that they would take a 10-2 Notre Dame and leave them out. I just thought Notre Dame was such a big brand that they would always be enslaved to that brand.
Well, next year they will be, right? Because I think there's some rules that start next year.
Yeah, why do they make special rules for Notre Dame? Why don't you do this? Hey, I got a special rule for Notre Dame. Get in a damn conference. You play half your games in the ACC anyway. Join the ACC and dominate it like we know you will. And then you don't have to worry about this. And you don't have to whine and cry and act like, well, wait a minute. It's like someone I once knew that always got what she wanted. And then someone told her no. And she lost her mind.
Right.
Right? I'm not used to, you don't tell me no. No, Notre Dame.
No to Notre Dame. By the way, this is TexAgs Live.
It is. TexAgs Live.
We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Gem of a guy.
We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Jason and Jackson and the boys.
This is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
I don't have anything to say to that one.
I like that place.
I do. I wear a lot of their stuff.
Many times when we start off the 8 o'clock hour, we're hanging out on that side of the studio. We call that the holistic planning.
Cool zone.
Very cool there. If you want to be a part of the conversation this morning, you can do it multiple ways. You can call us up on the Buppy's Catering
and Bartending
hotline, 979.
693-1150.
That's right. Call us at that number. We'll take your call. How do you feel about the path for A&M to get a national championship? Do you like the matchup with Miami? Want to hear from you. 979-693-1150. We go around the room. We go left to right. We say hi to the humans. Behind the glass is Nick Savage. Nick, good morning, buddy.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. I know you said you're tired of the complaining, but I'm going to complain just a little bit more. My biggest issue, and it has been since we went to this 12-team bracket last year, is that the group of 5 is pretty much guaranteed a spot every year. This year, just the way it worked out, they get 2 spots. I mean, I think both of those games are double-digit spreads. We know Ole Miss pounced on Tulane the first time they played earlier this year. So to me, it seems like such a waste of space for those 2 teams to take up a spot that maybe Notre Dame could have gotten, or Vanderbilt, Texas, whoever. I don't care, but I just that's my biggest issue with the way things are currently formatted is I don't think that those teams should be viewed in the same level as, the Power 4 teams. They should get their own playoff, as Josh Pate has said.
Obi, I had suggested to Billy yesterday maybe some kind of wild card. And I don't know how the calendar would work or any of that stuff. But all right, you got your 2 group of 5 teams, or you got 1 group of 5 team. They can play, both group of 5s can play the 11 and the 12 seed in a wild card round. And the winner of that gets to actually go to the 12-team playoff.
Yeah, that's fine for me if they would agree to it. And I don't know why they wouldn't. But that would mean, the calendar has to work out. So they'd have to play.
Maybe this week.
And that's fine. They play this week. And then and now they got to play 2 more extra games to win a national championship with somebody else. But I think they would do it if that's what it requires. Look, here's the deal. All they had to do was say, we're going to let the champions of the Power 4 conferences in and the highest ranked group of 5. But no, they didn't say that because they said, it could never happen where it won't be. So we're going to say the top 5 conference, the top 5 ranked conference champions.
Right.
And this is what happened. So it's their own fault because we have people in charge that are supposed to be really smart and they're not.
By the way, so ZB979 says, well, boys, we got hosed like many predicted in here. Now it's time to shock the world. I don't know if they got hosed this week. The hosing happened last week when I think they put A&M behind Ole Miss and Oregon. That's where I think the hosing happened. But I don't think they got hosed yesterday.
I would have to know why they got hosed.
Can I jump in on this real quick?
Yes, please.
Listening to Hunter Yurachek, after the final rankings were revealed, Reese Davis asked him about Texas A&M, Ole Miss. Why don't you move them? Well, they didn't play this week, but they moved Notre Dame and Miami, who didn't play last week. So that doesn't make sense.
Listen, I've said this before. I believe A&M should not have fallen all the way to 7 from 3. Okay, you lost on the road to a ranked team. Oh, okay.
Rivalry match. Yep.
I don't think it should have been, but it was. And like I said last week, although I don't agree with it, if I was in a debate and I had to debate it, I could win the debate for Ole Miss. I could say, hey, your best win was over number 8 Oklahoma. Your best win was over number 9 Notre Dame.
Done.
My loss, if I'm arguing this for Ole Miss, I said, my loss was to Georgia. Your loss was to Texas. How did it go when those two teams played?
Right.
Now, I do think you have to look at the whole schedule, and A&M's was ranked 14th in difficulty, and Ole Miss was 40-something. A&M played Notre Dame in non-conference. Ole Miss played Washington State.
Right.
So I think A&M should, but if I had to argue that, those are the points I'm arguing with, and those are valid too. So that's why I didn't get too
worked up
about that. Look, you're in the playoff. That's what you wanted. You wanted to be higher, beat Texas. Now go and play whoever you got to play and beat them.
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's hit a break. We'll check in. Actually, before we hit a break, I think we got a minute or two. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Ella Ryan, hello.
Hi, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm cold.
Yeah?
It's too cold outside. But just going on about some playoff stuff. The number 3 Texas A&M volleyball team ensured back-to-back NCAA tournament Sweet 16 appearances for the first time in program history after beating the number 6 seed TCU in a 4-set battle on Saturday evening, and they won 3-1.
What a great 4th game!
Yeah, it was.
I was keeping up with Cade Nagley's thread, and I was getting stressed.
Yeah. We watched that one at home. It was a fun atmosphere, and that first set, I was like, TCU came to play, and I know they had success with A&M. They're very good, yeah. But then A&M took care of business the next. Did
they beat A&M earlier this year, or was it SM? It was TCU. Yeah. So it was a tough game, and good teams make big plays at clutch time.
Ella, let's get a basketball update. I know that was an unfortunate game last night or yesterday afternoon.
Game. Yeah, the A&M basketball team suffered an overtime defeat to SMU, 93-80. But on the bright side, Marcus Hill had his 25 points with his 6th double-digit game of the season.
He played great.
Rough overtime loss.
Yeah, some bad turnovers late when you had the lead.
Dave in H-Town says Ole Miss was far more consistent than we were, so I get us being ranked behind Ole Miss.
Again, I think you look at the whole schedule and the strength of it, and I think A&M had the edge on strength of schedule. But if you tell me, hey, their win was over a higher ranked team, their best win, and their loss was against a team that beat the team you lost to, I can say okay.
Word association. Ready?
All right, let's go.
Brisket.
Succulent.
Okay. Jalapeno cheese sausage.
Amazing.
Okay. Turkey from 1775.
I'm thinking like Brett Bielema. I'm thinking borderline erotic.
Borderline.
Maybe I should have saved that for queso mac and cheese.
Okay, queso mac and cheese.
Borderline. It's not even borderline.
It is erotic.
Yeah.
What about it being so close to the studio? Like we're 14 minutes away, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
If you hit the red light.
Yeah.
It's not far. It's not far from the studio. It's just on a couple of miles.
Yeah.
What's that highway that leads you to Snook?
21?
28. I don't know. Whatever that highway is.
God, I just drive.
Yeah, by the airport. you go by a couple of miles past the airport to the left. Follow your nose. The aroma.
If there was one negative about 1775,
well,
you have to wait.
You have to wait till Thursday,
which makes it great, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a double-edged sword. There, I gotta wait. Oh,
yeah,
but it makes me want it more.
Yeah. The waiting, as Tom Petty said, is the hardest part, but absence makes the heart grow fonder.
You can call them up, by the way. They probably answer the phone. I don't know. I've never tried. 979-492-6241 or check out the website, 1775txbbq.com.
It's really good.
What's up, everybody? I'm here to tell you about Fratello Italian Cafe. If anyone knows anything about Italian food, it's me, Billy Liucci. And Fratello has the best Italian food in BCS. Located at 3901 South Texas Avenue, Fratello is known for their handmade pasta dishes and feature lasagna, beef cannelloni, chicken parmesan, chicken fettuccine alfredo, a couple of my favorites, just a big old bowl of plain old spaghetti and some manicotti. Really recommend the manicotti. That's my go-to. And don't walk out of there without trying the fresh, piping hot breadsticks and the homemade in-house cheesecake, which is incredible. It's great for dining in, catering, gift cards, and even shipping, which they do nationwide. Fratello's is Aggie-owned and operated, and it's an official restaurant partner of Texas A&M Athletics. I'll see you there.
We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Let's hear from Coach Elko.
Let's do.
We're going to have an extended press conference later on today. I know he spoke a little bit with the media yesterday on Zoom. Let's talk a little bit about the trajectory of this Texas A&M football program.
Yeah, obviously an exciting day for Texas A&M football. Opportunity to be in the playoff, opportunity to host a game at Kyle Field. I think that'll be a really special moment for this program. First time we've had playoff football here in college. Obviously, the first time we've had playoff football here in College Station. And so obviously excited to see the 12th man turn out for playoff football and excited for the opportunity. Miami, obviously a great team, a team that I've got some familiarity with from my time at Duke. And I think Mario's done a phenomenal job with that program, building the talent level, and certainly one of the more talented teams in the country. And
you know, when I think about this Miami team, I think about a lot of talent.
Okay.
I think about a defense that has seemed to do a really good job at stopping people's running game, right? Done a very good job there. I also think to myself, yeah, they played Notre Dame. They were definitely tested early. But they play in the ACC, and I hold that against them because I don't think they've been tested a lot. And in the games that they've lost, Carson Beck, I believe, had 6 interceptions in those 2 games combined. A&M does not force a ton of turnovers, as we know, so they better start, at least in the playoffs. But I feel like A&M is the better team, the more tested team. Am I wrong?
I think, yeah. I mean, obviously, the more tested team. They were in the SEC,
right?
As opposed to the ACC. Look, I'm not going to disparage the opponent. I think that Notre Dame. I think Miami is very good. I know they're athletic, but if A&M plays Notre Dame, Miami schedule, probably undefeated, right? And not having to play because they did beat Notre Dame. I'm looking. They beat Florida. They both played Florida. They both blew out Florida. Miami struggled with Florida State. I think A&M could handle them. They lost to SMU. They lost to Louisville. I mean, any team can have a bad game, right? But
well, one of the things I brought up to Billy yesterday on Luchador was that Miami did not leave the state of Florida until November 1st. And while that may not seem like a big deal, I think it is a big deal. Now, they did play very good football at the end of the year. I mean, they're averaging, 35 points a game at the end, the last 4 games.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Any team, and again, I don't mean to disparage, Miami, but I'm just pointing out the obvious, right? Any team that has a good, not great, but a good offense is going to put up numbers against Syracuse, NC State, Virginia, and even Pitt. Because all you got to do is go back and look what other teams did against Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, and even Pitt.
But at the time of beating Pitt, which was the last regular season game, Pitt was a ranked team.
They were. I don't mean to disparage Miami. They are a good football team. They can win this game if you are not careful.
Yeah. I
They're
agree.
very talented.
I think, to me, I don't know if I believe this, but I'm going to say it out loud. 1 through 10. I don't know if I believe in Oklahoma to win a national championship. But if you look at 1 through 10, would it surprise you if any of those teams won it all? Would it surprise you for Miami to win it all? It'd probably surprise me, but it surprised me if Oklahoma did. But I can make a case.
That's why they have the playoff, right? Frankly, I thought if Notre Dame was playing Oklahoma, I'd have picked Notre Dame.
I would have too.
Because I just don't know that Oklahoma can score enough to keep up with a good offensive team.
I don't want to say who scares you, but who would have been a scarier matchup for A&M, Notre Dame or Miami?
Probably.
I think Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
I think Notre Dame too.
Because of the running backs.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched too often. I've watched running backs.
Bad running backs. Well, running backs who weren't having a great season. Not bad running backs. Yeah. Have marquee games against A&M's defense.
And I don't see Miami having the same kind of running threat. Now that said, where was Texas nationally in rushing before they played A&M?
That's exactly my point. Yeah. And I think Miami's lead back, had it like 687 yards rushing, I think he had. So, I mean, he's very capable. So
We talking about Mark Fletcher with 685 yards?
okay, I was 2 yards off, yeah. Very capable. Averaging, 5 yards a carry?
4.9.
Yeah.
10 touchdowns. Just happen to have his stats right up here. Let's see, Mark Fletcher.
Good old Mark.
Good old Mark. His best game looks like to me, I got to take into account opponent, was probably, we thought Florida had a pretty decent defense.
Yeah.
He had 116 yards rushing.
That's pretty darn good.
And a touchdown against Florida. His longest run of the year, 38 yards against South Florida.
God, please don't do that against A&M. Looking at what A&M did against Florida in the running game, Reuben Owens led the team with 51 yards. Le'Veon Moss had 46
He got
yards.
hurt that game. That's the game where he got hurt.
That's right.
So
They had 183 yards rushing as a team.
Yeah, they had a good game. Miami is more than capable of beating you if you don't play well, or if you turn the ball over, or if you keep misfitting gaps, right?
Yep.
But if A&M, I believe if they both play in a game, that A&M will win.
I'm going to say this. The A&M, and I've brought this up before, but the A&M team that we saw against LSU, I believe can beat Ohio State, can beat Indiana, can beat Georgia.
Yeah, the A&M team we saw for 3 quarters against LSU, the first, third, and fourth, can beat anybody in the country. The A&M team we saw in the second quarter against LSU can lose to anything.
Yep. And the team that played the first half against South Carolina absolutely can lose to anything.
Isn't in the tournament.
And you cannot. I mean, we've seen, I believe, too much of one half A&M teams.
Oh, we still haven't seen the 4 good quarters. Now, look, 4 good quarters doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win.
Right.
But I would like to see 4 good quarters in that if you don't win, it's just because you were in a knockdown drag out and they just played a little bit better than you.
Yep. Let's hit a break here. We'll come back, do one more segment with OB, and then we'll look towards the 9 o'clock hour. Right now, duck camp time. No duck camp by you, no duck camp by me. That's okay.
I got my duck camp hoodie hanging up in the
office?
car.
Okay, in the car.
Yeah.
I got a brown hat from duck camp.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Yeah.
I like those duck camp hats. I like that logo.
Yeah.
With the duck.
I like all the logos. They
have one with a deer, don't they? With the big.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Billy's got that one.
But it will, I would have liked to have had that one.
Hey, today I was going for a run.
Yeah.
And I saw a deer that gave me a look like it wanted to fight. And usually deer run away. This one actually looked at me like, "What's up, son?"
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
And I just, I was wearing a duck hoodie, by the way. Just a,
that buck, he was. I'm assuming he was a buck.
Yeah, it was a buck. Yeah.
That buck probably has a cap with you on it.
Yeah, like I cross the street.
It's his duck.
Like when you go to the mean streets of certain neighborhoods, you cross the street when you see a certain person walking on the other side. This is what it was with the deer. We were this close, eye to eye. He looks at me like this. I did have my duck camp hoodie just to make sure everybody knows. And I said, okay, I'm going to go on the other side.
I'm just glad you didn't have your duck camp hat with the buck on it. Because,
buck off.
Yeah, he might have
been a buck off. Yeah. Check it all out, by the way. It has nothing to do with duck camp, but I think it'll make you want to wear their clothes, I think. Duckcamp.com, built for the outdoors, designed for everything else.
Good stuff.
Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever, and also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group, and they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em. Play the song?
I'm trying to pick, is that John Anderson or is that a new person?
I don't know who that is.
It's Midland.
Who?
Midland.
Oh, I should have known that.
That's a.
He's got a drinking problem.
I'm not familiar. It sounds like something that I would listen to.
Yeah, but your face looked like it was you were like
because I was trying to
decipher.
If you knew who John Anderson?
John Anderson, ESPN anchor for many years.
No, if you knew this country singer John Anderson, he had a song called "Just a Swingin'."
Swinging. What was swinging?
Swings.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I didn't say Schlossnagel. I said John Anderson. Anyway, he had a song called "Just a Swingin'" and some other songs like that. Seminole Wind, and I think the voices sound kind of familiar. Okay. And so I was thinking, is that John Anderson? I haven't heard John Anderson in 20 years.
Still TexAgs Live.
Yeah, it is.
We're still presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
We are.
We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Jason and Jackson and the boys.
Yeah. Go Hour. Presented by the Warehouse at
CC Creations.
Yeah. And what else? Bubby's Bartending and Catering Hotline.
We're at the Cool Zone.
Yeah, 979-693-1150. Let's go to the Angry Elephant using Social Center because we're going to have to break here soon because Obi's got to get going for a meeting. All right. What do we have, Miss Ella Ryan? I know that people have been texting, so let's get some thoughts out there.
Yeah, this is from Sean. He said, for the playoff seeding and path to the championship, I wouldn't have it any other way. Why would I want to play a group of 5 school like Tulane or James Madison at home in a playoff game? I would have preferred Notre Dame to put to rest. We got gifted the win in South Bend on a holding call. But I'm okay with Miami because they were spotted ahead of us at one time for beating Notre Dame.
Here's the truth, guys. I believe that beating a team like Miami gives you street cred. Okay? What I mean by that is because the last 2 real games we've watched A&M play, the South Carolina game, the Texas game, has left a kind of a question mark about where this team is in November. Right? You beat a James Madison or a Tulane, people are like, you're supposed to do that. I think if you beat a Miami team, it changes the way everybody looks at this. Like, all right, let's go to take on Ohio State. Like, that is a quality opponent that you're going to have to be at your best or you will lose.
True. Now, first of all, I don't buy the whole thing about we were gifted a win at Notre Dame. Calls get called and missed and things like that all the time, right? It happens. So, A&M did have a holding call that nullified a touchdown on a kickoff return. You went out there. You know what? To get to that 4th down, 11-yard completion, whatever it was, you had to drive the length of the field, and they did. All right, A&M earned that win. I've said it over and over. I don't care who you got to play. It's the playoff. You got to play good teams. Yeah, does Ole Miss and I already forgot who. Oregon, do they get a couple of easier games? Yeah, they do. But eventually, you're going to have to play. They're going to have to play somebody really good. So, hey, it's Miami. Yeah, you'll get more credit, but I don't care what anybody thinks of me. All I care about is, and the Aggies, all I care about is going out and beat the opponent that's in front of you.
I was talking to somebody this weekend, like if we don't win this game, it's just going to prove everybody that was right about us. I'm like, who cares what people think? Like, it's just their opinion. You're in the freaking playoffs.
You're in the playoffs.
Like, whatever. And I keep comparing Indiana's story to A&M's because I believe A&M is right now where Indiana was a year ago. A team that people try to poke holes in their schedule, like they're not for real. We did it. Like, we weren't sure about them. And they're for real. 2 years in a row makes you for real.
Yeah, it does. And but who cares? You know what I care about? Again, I'm going to be disappointed if A&M doesn't win because they didn't win, not because somebody in Austin is going to say something or somebody in Baton Rouge are going to say something. It's because that stuff doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is, hey, is my team going to be able to go out and win?
Right.
And then I'm going to worry, if they do, I'm going to be thinking, can they go out and win the next one? And that's all that matters. I don't care what anybody else says.
One last text, and we'll hit a break.
One more text. Okay, this is from, this one doesn't have a name. It just said, Bama should have been punished for losing to Florida State, not for losing to Georgia, and they should have been out, not Notre Dame.
Well, if Texas is going to be punished for losing to Florida, as well as they should, Alabama should have been punished for losing to Florida State. Did those two teams played, right?
Yeah.
Who won?
Florida. Opie, thank you, buddy.
Yep.
All right, we're going to hit a break here. We'll come back. I want to hear a little bit more from Coach Elko. We'll continue getting to your phone calls and your text messages at 979-693-1150. If you're looking for real peace of mind when it comes to your money, check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. And what really sets them apart is the 9 CFPs, the CFA, and the CPA, all on staff. These folks take their credentials seriously, and they work tirelessly to help you build a future that you can feel good about. Go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call at 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. It is Paragon Financial Advisors. Let's talk a little Snaps clothing. David Nuño here, and I love wearing Snaps clothing everywhere. I've got the flannel on right now. You've seen me in the Tailgater collection with the A&M gear. It is fantastic. If you see me around town with my sons, Christian and Cruz, they've got a bunch of Snaps gear. When they have big games for Consol, they wear nice clothes, so they wear their Snap stuff. And I'm telling you, with baseball season here, let's all kind of go looking stylish and fit to the games there at Olsen wearing the Snaps clothing. As a reminder, they are the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snaps maker out there. Their Tailgater collection is built for game day with breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics to keep you comfortable while you rep your Aggies in style. Now, whether you're watching the game from home or maybe you're in attendance, you're tailgating, whatever it may be, you got to make sure you head to snapsclothing.com to see everything they have to offer. It is fashionable, it is awesome, and you're going to love it. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. I want to talk to you about Chance McClain, my buddy, who runs Heritage Films. Reach out to him for a documentary done about your family business, your family ranch. Just do a story. If you care about your family, you tell their story. He's not just a filmmaker. I said that rudely. I didn't mean it, guys. I meant it, but I didn't mean it like that. Circle of trust, hugs. You know what I mean. He's not just a filmmaker. He's a storyteller with an Aggie heart. He's done Broadway musicals. He started radio stations, and now he does Heritage Films the last few years. He's leaving for Africa to tell somebody's story. He's going to be gone for 2 weeks. He's looking forward to that. He does all these things. He's done politician stories. He's done Average Joe's stories. He's done my dad's story. He is amazing, and I know that you will really love talking to Chance, just getting a feel for his vision for your family story. What you want to do is reach out to him at 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341, or visit yourheritagefilm.com. That is yourheritagefilm.com. All right, let's continue hearing things. So I wanted to hear this bite from Coach Elko about just where A&M is headed, right? Because we keep talking about what A&M could be. This year, they are. Now, how do you stay on the R? Well, you got to maximize this opportunity, right? Here's Coach Elko talking about the direction of this program.
Yeah, I think it's where we need this program to be. I think it's part of the mission that we've been on, which is for people to start talking about what we've accomplished and a little bit less about what we're capable of being. And so when you see Texas A&M up there on that big playoff board, it's an exciting opportunity, and it's statement that we've made about where we've elevated this program to. Now, it's like I told the guys, that was never the goal. That was the first goal, right? The first goal was to get the name on the board. Now we got to go out and we got to prove that we belong there. We got to prove that we've earned it. And we're going to have to do that against a very difficult football team.
Proving that you belong starts with a victory over, I think, a very good Miami team. Now, there's always going to be people who poke holes in your resume. You got the last team in, this and that. Talent for talent, resume for resume, Miami is every bit as good as all the top teams in your top 10, minus outside maybe the top 3, right? Minus outside Georgia. I don't think there's that much separation. By the way, I don't think there's that much separation from the first tier, where I think A&M was listed for 95% of the season. There's not that much of a, from tier 1 to tier 2. But if you were to break down this college football playoff rankings from a tiers perspective, I think A&M is in that second tier of teams. And yeah, that second tier of teams are the host sites, right? The Ole Misses, the Oregons, the A&Ms. I put Texas Tech in that second tier. Now, I don't know who Texas Tech has played. You're telling me they played BYU, okay, and they lost to Arizona State without their quarterback. Okay, I get it. And I think from a talent perspective, what I've seen on TV, Texas Tech is legitimately very good. No doubt about that. But I think there is still the tier, the Georgia tier, the Indiana tier, and the Ohio State tier right over here. And I think A&M might be in that tier. They didn't play like it for half a football game against Texas. You can maybe even say the whole game, because even up 7-3, which I would have taken 10 times out of 10 on the road in Austin, even with that lead, or 10-3, sorry, even with that lead, they didn't look very good in the first half, but you got to credit Texas for it. They looked horrible in the second half and horrible in the first half against South Carolina. If they put together really good football, they beat Miami, in my opinion, at home at Kyle Field. I think there's that. They're the better team. They've been the better team most of the year. Now Miami playing with the second life. They weren't even sure they're going to get in. They get an opportunity. What you have to do is force turnovers against a team that loses games when they force turnovers or when they turn the ball over. Carson Beck's 6 interceptions in those 2 games are a telling story about how Miami plays. And also, Mario Cristobal is very conservative in those games, and you want to take advantage of, I think, a mismatch from a head coaching standpoint. Anyway, let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. What are some more of the people saying?
This is from Calvin on our premium chat. He asked, when was the last time you saw the A&M team that beat LSU? The team has played okay at Mizzou, terrible for a half against South Carolina, mediocre against Samford, okay first half, and brutal second half against Texas. People keep calling for the Aggies to play a complete 4-quarter game. It hasn't happened all year. It's not who this team is.
Okay, so here's my follow-up to that. Because Billy and I were talking about this yesterday. I didn't think we looked that good against Missouri, and then Billy reminded me, dude, how much they won? By 21 points in that game?
Yeah, I can see.
Right? It was by 21. So, they had a couple of really big runs. They ran the ball well against A&M's defense, and that's been a problem all year long, right? UTSA game, we saw it, a couple of big runs in that one. We saw in the Utah State game. So this is stuff that we have seen all season long. I didn't feel great about the Missouri. I felt great about the Missouri game at the time, right? But for some reason, because of what happened against South Carolina and what happened against Texas, I hold on to that Missouri game as part of this November narrative. What was that? How much did they score in that game? 38? 38, right? So 38 what?
38-17.
38-17. So you won by 21 on the road against one of the top 10 defenses in the country, and they were able to run the ball on you. And oh, by the way, what did you do? You followed your recipe that you had done most of the season except the Texas game, which was, all right, we're going to do our thing. We're going to spread you out. We're going to get the ball to Casey and Mario. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And in the fourth quarter, you're not going to be able to stop our run game. And that's A&M actually outrushed them in that game when they were trailing the entire game, because in the fourth quarter, which they had done all season long, was own that fourth. And they just didn't do it in the Texas game. But they did it there. So I'm kind of with you on the Missouri game, but I'm also reminded, no, they won by 21 on the road against a very good defense, a team that had played very well the week before against Vanderbilt and very well after. So I can't give you that one, even though I thought the same thing. The reality is you go on the road and win by 21 points against a backup quarterback, the first-string quarterback, or his nephew. Doesn't matter. You won that game by 21. Anyway, we're going to hit a break. Is Michael telling me to calm down? I think so. Maybe he's telling somebody else in the chat. Anyway, I'm not going to calm down because we have Marty Smith coming up next on TexAgs Live. And we are back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Time for our weekly conversation with Marty Smith, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Don't miss the limited edition Magellan Outdoor Christmas Market Collection, only at Academy. Exclusive 2025 gear and gifts for all of your holiday parties, fun family photos, and Christmas morning traditions. And you can check out that entire collection, from matching PJs and holiday print fishing shirts and dresses to exclusive new Mossy Oak Snowdrift camo styles and more. Shop in-store or online at academy.com. And if you need it fast, get same-day delivery powered by DoorDash. Let your holiday fun begin with the Magellan Outdoor Christmas Market Collection, only at Academy. And with that, we go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, our friend, Marty Smith. Marty, good morning, buddy.
David, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
I hope you guys are doing great. It's great to see you. It's been a couple weeks.
Yes, sir. By the way, that hoodie is just fire, my friend. I love that, Jordan, that J's on there.
Indeed it is. I would agree with that. My son is 20. He's a sophomore in college, and he inherited his father's sneakerhead addiction. And I think he's ready to fight me for this one. But I do love it. I mean, this is, for guys our age, this is nostalgic. It is, you got to think about how the Air Jordan 1 was such a departure from what the NBA knew at that time. It was so disruptive because everybody just wore white sneakers. And then MJ comes in as a rookie and throws these on his feet and begins the first steps towards the greatest career ever in the history of the league. And I can't think of another athlete. He rewrote athlete endorsements with the decision to go with Nike. So he's he's the man.
Marty, I know I should probably start with the most recent news, but I want to go back, since we didn't chat last week, and just brag about you, man. I thought your reporting from the whole Lane Kiffin thing and then your ability to land that interview, I thought you were spectacular, man. I just want to give you some props here on the show. Really good
Very
reporting
kind.
and just a great job with that all.
Thank you. It was quite an experience to go down there on Thanksgiving to the Egg Bowl on Friday, and then of course Saturday was we were trying to think about it. I was with my producer, the same guy that I did the Lane Kiffin beat with, is my field producer with the SEC Network. And we were trying to figure out how long Saturday was. We think it was like 18 and a half, pushing 19, something like that. And then when I got the news, like you'd have thought we won the Super Bowl when I got the news that they were going to have a 9 a.m. meeting and Lane was going to announce after, of course. But when we got to that meeting, the meeting was pushed to 1 and on and on. But we'd been there so long that when a well-placed source told me that meeting was happening the next day, we were high-fiving each other. Nice, we can actually go get a 90-minute, 2-hour nap. But, yeah, man, that one will be in a book someday for sure, the way all that unfolded and everything that was involved. And now that conversion van kind of has its own lore after sharing that story on Pat's show. I mean, I had so many people at the SEC Championship weekend walk up to me laughing about the loaf of bread. I was like, man, that's what it felt like. I felt like we were climbing in a loaf of Wonder Bread and taking off. But, yeah, it was wild, dude. Wild experience. And if you're, nobody watching your channel is, but if you're LSU people, you got your guy. And if you're Ole Miss people, I loved seeing Pete's comments yesterday. That is a no-nonsense dude who said about 408 cuss words on his press conference yesterday, and that is exactly who he is, and he is adamant, I'm going to be that guy. And kind of right now they need that guy. That's what they need. They need a guy who bleeds it, who has proven both through production, recruitment, and attitude, I want to be your guy, and I'm going to be your guy. And so be wild. Imagine your first head coaching job ever being hosting a college football playoff game. Granted, it's against a team that you beat by 35 in the regular season, but nonetheless, interesting dynamic, right? That you got one guy who's coaching for the first time as the head coach, and then you got the guy on the other sideline who's heading off to the SEC in Summerall. That's a really good hire, too, for the Gators. He's kind of taking a no BS approach to his media tour, too, which that fan base also wants to see. So, wild times, bro.
So, since the last time we spoke, A&M did not look good against Texas. They fall to the 7 seed, which I thought was unfair at the time based on resumes, but whatever. It is what it is. And now you have Miami. Most of us thought it was going to be Alabama or Notre Dame. So just your thoughts on the matchup with Miami here, first-round matchup at Kyle Field.
It's going to be one of the greatest days in the history of Texas A&M in terms of the opportunity, the atmosphere. Think how lucrative that is for the surrounding area and counties and greater College Station and Bryan. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable down there. It's going to be something that is this line of demarcation moment that everything that so many people down there have always invested and for so long have been disappointed comes to fruition. Especially, of course, if you win the game. But I just think it's a beautiful moment. Now, the playoff itself right now, I mean, so many people are mad between Alabama getting in and Notre Dame not getting in. All right? And if I'm a Notre Dame fan, I completely respect that opinion. I was in the Birmingham airport last night praying. I feel like I spend so much time in airports just praying that the bird lands and that it's going to take off again so I can go home. And I was in that headspace last night. We left the SEC championship after all the post-game interviews and the post-game show and drove all the way to Tuscaloosa and, again, took like a couple-hour nap and got up to go to work yesterday. And I talked to Kalen DeBoer all morning long, and he made it very clear. Look, we earned the right as the number 1 seed in the conference to play in the conference championship. Yeah, we got it took to us, and they did. I mean, they got dominated in the SEC championship game. But his thought was, we can't be penalized for earning that right because Texas A&M got beat by Texas. Because if Texas A&M holds serve and beats Texas, Alabama's sitting at home and their asses are in anyway. So, to me, that argument makes sense. All right, and then you couple that with, okay, let's look at Notre Dame's resume. We don't go to these schools to politic for these schools. Not what we do. We talk to the coaches. Jen Latta went to Notre Dame. She talked to Marcus Freeman. She talked to the athletic director. They're giving us their politicking, and we're reporting what they tell us. All right, so you look at Notre Dame's resume. Notre Dame's best win is against 3-loss SC. Notre Dame played 2 top-ranked college football playoff-ranked teams in y'all and Miami. And they lost. Okay? They're not in a conference. That's their decision. And so I can see how the committee came to their resolution on this. I can see it. I was in the Birmingham airport last night, and the UTSA men's basketball team was going to their gate. And there was a young man who played at Notre Dame who came over, and we were having a great debate about it. And he's like, I get it. I mean, they're angry, and I understand. And now, it's compounded by them deciding not to play in a bowl at all. That, to me, David, is the real story this morning, is how many teams is it now that are opting out completely? What's the number?
8, roughly.
8? Yeah. Okay, so even above Notre Dame not playing, all right, Notre Dame deciding not to play in a bowl, okay, you're pissed. You believe you're a national championship caliber team. All you've heard through all of the debate for a month and a half is we're getting better every week. We look better every week. We're peaking at the right time. We're dominating opponents, and then you get left out. I get it if I'm Marcus Freeman or I'm Pete or I'm CJ Carr, Jeremiah Love, yeah, I'm pissed. Okay, let's collectively as a unit decide we're not going to play in the Citrus Bowl. I don't even know what they were projected to go to, whatever bowl. We're not doing it. But it's even more telling to me that Baylor, Iowa State, that these schools are saying, nah, we're good. That is a unique statement on where we are with bowls that aren't in the championship playoff series calendar are. So I feel like it's something new every week, dude. I feel like there's some paradigm shift every single week that's taking a brick out of the path that leads to everything that's so beautiful about college football. And that is all of the pageantry and the history and passing it down in generations and tailgating with your granddaddy and, you know, throwing a football around with your dad and all of that and the bands and the cheerleaders and the you know, what they yell at various universities, especially y'all. Like, think about y'all's and all the tradition you have down there. The community piece of it. You got to be real careful what you wish for, man. I've seen it in my NASCAR life. And this is a telling day for me with these teams opting out of the bowl experience altogether.
So, Marty, what's the fix then? Because there's too much money from these networks that need these games, right? So
I don't know, bro. Yeah. I'll just talk about it. I don't have the foresight to sit here and try to devise a way to fix it because I don't know. I mean, I know there's already a narrative, okay, do we expand the playoff? We're already in a moment where if you don't make the playoff, your ass is on the line if you're a head football coach. That has become the metric and the math by which you're judged. And now, specifically to the SEC, you heard what Kirby said. That's what the ninth game in the SEC slate. And I'm going to tell you something, dude. Standing on that field all night Saturday, all day, whatever Saturday, they were knocking the absolute hell out of each other. It was so physical that if I was you, if I was any of you guys watching that are Texas A&M fanatics, y'all should be glad your guys got a weekend off to recover, an extra week off to recover, because Georgia had 7 guys out and about several guys playing that were at a lower percentage of health, and Alabama had 10 guys out and however 4 or 5, however many more that were not even close to fully healthy, and they were knocking the hell out of each other. That was so physical. And Kirby said it. Look, we're at the 9th game. Y'all just saw what it looks like. And so if we go and expand the playoff to whatever, 16, some people want 24. I mean, I just don't know. But, yeah, look, if I'm Notre Dame, if I'm Texas, if I'm Vanderbilt, And I feel like, I've put a 10-win season together, and I've beaten some good opponents. And in the Texas Vanderbilt context, I've made my way through a difficult conference slate with only a couple blemishes. You almost look at it and go, the hell did we do all this? Like, what? We did what we were supposed to do.
Marty, I know that Ohio State fears no one, right? They're the reigning national champions. They lost a close one to Indiana. I recognize all that. But do you think if you gave Ryan Day some truth serum and he's thinking to himself, my goodness, there's a possibility we take on a team in A&M, or maybe even Miami, but just A&M in this instance, that was considered one of the 3 best teams in the country for 95% of the year in our first playoff matchup. There's a chance that we're taking on a semifinal caliber team in our first playoff game.
And really, that's whoever wins. I mean, it's really whoever wins. I mean, obviously Miami wasn't as highly ranked. You guys were undefeated all the way to the bell. And yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I would be thinking. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I went undefeated through the entire Big Ten. We make a couple plays that we want back, whether that's the 4th down that they attempted with Julian Sayin, and he was ultimately considered to be down before the marker, the missed field goal. Those things happen. You lose 13-10 to a team that came out and played on fire defensively for sure. Mendoza looked amazing all night long. Indiana's for real. And so you lose to a good team by a field goal and had opportunities to win the game. Okay, so now you fall to 2. Many people thought they would go to 3 and Georgia would go to 2. And you're either going to play one of 2 really good teams who are rested. I mean, you're talking about having a month to get yourself right. Well, what is it, dude? Basically a month.
Yeah.
And so to get everybody healthy, all of those ankles that are hurting and knees that are hurting, at a far higher percentage of health. And man, yeah, if I were him, I'd just be scratching my head. But look, it is what it is. Go to work and figure out how to beat these 2 teams. And they definitely got the horses, Jack.
Well, when I think about this Miami team, I don't know how much you've watched them. I've watched their big games on TV and highlights. Like,
me too.
I'm thinking of a team that any team that turns the ball over is going to lose games, and that's why they lost their 2 games this year. Mm-hmm. But athlete for athlete, this looks like an SEC team.
Yeah, I mean, look, they have a guy who was a seasoned SEC quarterback in Carson Beck. They have a guy who's a head coach who learned under the greatest to ever do it. So he understands the physicality of it all. I believe Tony is one of the best players in the country, and I think he just turned 18, which is just remarkable. And I'm pretty sure he was a 3-star. I mean, I don't know who's giving those grades, but that guy is just a problem. Defensively, they have a couple dudes that are first-rounders. And so, yeah, I mean, their physical makeup and their leadership makeup is very much in tune with an SEC philosophy. And to their credit, the way they beat up Pittsburgh, I thought that was a really important performance for them to be in the position they are now. They definitely put their mark on, this is who we are right now. And against a team that is very well respected in Pitt. And so, yeah, it's going to be a challenge, man. I'm telling you, that y'all's fan base, that 107, 108,000 or whatever that place holds, they better be on full tilt. It better be absolute overdrive for, no matter the situation, for 4 hours. And What time's that y'all's kickoff?
11 a.m., believe it or not.
Oh, y'all better start. Y'all better get up at 5:30 and just start pouring the shine. I mean, it better be unhinged.
Marty, I appreciate it, man. Have a great week.
Hey, thank you, brother. Merry Christmas, guys. I appreciate it.
Merry Christmas. Marty Smith there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. Billy should be in studio. We'll talk about some of our new partners. I'm talking about Guaranty Bank and Trust. I actually had a conversation with a couple of their folks over the weekend, Sarah and Tony. Great. They're just hometown bank. If you're looking for hometown banking, Guaranty Bank and Trust is the place to go. They've got over a century of experience serving Texans, and they're one of the most respected community banks. They serve Aggie land as your community bank, 3 convenient locations in the BCS area. And, the market president, Brandon Sears, he's a Texas A&M alum. He leads the Bryan College Station Initiative and the team here. He's awesome. 33 locations across Texas, from East Texas to DFW to Houston, Central Texas, and as I mentioned, right here in Bryan College Station. So wherever you are in Texas, Guaranty Bank and Trust makes local decisions with people that you know and trust. And they support some financial decisions and education through home ownership, local business, and nonprofit efforts. And they are known for their exceptional relationship-focused banking. So whether you're buying a home or running a business or beginning your financial journey, your Aggieland Community Bank is tailored to support people who live here in this area and work in this area. They are awesome. You want to talk to Brandon when you go get to know him. It is Guaranty Bank and Trust. The website is www.gnty.com. That is gnty.com. It is Guaranty Bank and Trust, division of Glacier Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks is good to be right. huge country star, Post Malone. Still upset Nick. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2 of the program. All right, so how are we going to fix college football, guys? For a minute, let's Marty didn't necessarily have a plan to fix it. My idea from 4 years ago that nobody likes still is the winning plan. Bowl games to start the year. Come on, Nick. At this point, we have to.
What part are we fixing? We're fixing the bowl game issue here.
Yes.
And by the way, I refreshed Twitter, and the opt-outs are up to 10. 10 schools have opted out.
Do you have the teams? Who are they?
I'll find it, but take it from there, and I'll find it real quick for you.
All right. So, look, there's a couple ways to fix this. I mean, fix, quote-unquote fix. You do an NIT-style tournament with bowls, okay? And winner takes it all, right? There's some financial reason to be in these games, right? And yes, you pay the players, all that good stuff. But to me, there's a couple of options. You expand the playoffs, which I don't know if you should. I don't know. You expand it and you don't make it for more games than these higher-seeded teams, right? Like you don't necessarily give them more games.
I got the teams for you.
Okay, tell me the teams.
Notre Dame, Kansas State, Kansas, Iowa State, Florida State, which did they get 6 wins? They didn't even have 6 wins, so who cares?
They opted out of getting the opportunity to be asked in?
That's correct. A lot of these teams. Auburn is another one. UCF, Baylor, Rutgers, Temple.
Are they on strike?
Well, I mean, if you're a coaching staff, aren't these head coaches expecting like half of their roster to be in the portal playing these games? You know what I mean? Like I feel like Notre Dame's like a pout. They're just pouting. But for some of these schools, I feel like it's more so of a Kansas State. I understand because they're getting a new head coach, right? Colin Klein's coming in. Why even bother with it? But the schools that, earned that bowl bid, or the 5 and 7 teams that could have played an extra game that are just saying no. I feel like those head coaches are like, well, we're not even going to have a team to field if we played a game. So I guess I understand it, but it's also, kind of lame. I disagree with the the NIT bowl games at the beginning of the season.
Well, hold on. Why do you disagree?
I don't think. Don't we already kind of get that anyway with the non-conference games?
I mean,
it's just they're
some teams
on
are.
campus. So wait, so you want to take games off campus and put them in the Cheez-It Bowl in September or whatever?
Just Labor Day weekend. That's it. That's your bowl game. Labor Day weekend.
What are
around
the qualifiers?
Country.
Everybody plays one?
I mean, only the teams that qualified for the bowls. So instead of playing the bowls January 1st and all that, only the playoffs happen in those. And then the rest of these bowls that don't have any meaning anymore anyway, you do Labor Day weekend and you qualify for that bowl. And all
so that would be like your opening game.
Correct.
Okay.
Right? Do it Labor Day weekend, or if you need to start your season a little bit earlier, you do it before, right? But you start your season before, but your bowl game is still that Labor Day weekend, right? I know it's a horrible idea. I recognize that, but I'm trying to save. You're laughing at me, Nick.
Yeah.
I'm trying to save the bowl system because it matters for TV dollars, okay? And then there's no opt-outs because it's all part of your regular season.
Well, I shouldn't it be a lot like this? What's the basketball tournament, the Players Era tournament or whatever that, if you win the bowl or the tournament or whatever, you get NIL dollars.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's what it should go to, that direction, that, give the players incentive to play, give the coaches incentive to coach in the game. So,
and you're against an NIT style tournament for the second tier level teams.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm for it. I think they should, honestly, this is way above my head, but do you see, or is it too outrageous to say in the future that the group of 5 is going to become the new Division II? You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
That's what I see it going towards.
Yeah, but I'm talking about all the other teams, the Baylor, the Auburns, all these teams that opted out. There should be some incentive to play more another game, right? It should be part. You got to still change. I still think the transfer window being in the middle of all this, to me, that still sucks. Again, though, if we're trying to fix the bowl system, and I don't know why we're trying to fix it. We're trying to fix it for TV so they can pay these teams more and then these programs more so they can afford more buyouts. Anyway, Billy's in the lobby. You know what? Because you got here late, I'm going to take my time.
That's fine. I can't tell you what to do.
Yeah, no, you can't. I'm going to hit a break anyway. Let's talk Daily Company, shall we? Daily Company is a family-owned, licensed, and insured business that offers all the services you want, well, at least when it comes to these types of services: HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and generator services. That is available to you 24/7/365. And when it comes to HVAC, they're going to fix your thermostat. They have the refrigerant leaks, the furnace failures, the seasonal tune-ups. Plumbing-wise, leak repairs, clogged drains, water heater installation, maintenance to keep those pipes into top shape. Electrical wiring, outlets and repairs, upgrades for safety and efficiency. Generator-wise, they'll take care of your repairs, your maintenance, installation to prepare for any power outages. They serve Bryan, College Station, they serve Houston, they serve Austin, with upfront pricing and no surprises. Contact the Daily Company now. 979-260-2020. That's 979-260-2020. Or visit them online at godaily.com to experience the daily difference. And we're back. It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so privileged to have our executive editor and co-owner of TexAgs.com, Billy Liucci, here with us. Good morning, Billy. Great to see you, bud.
David, good to see you too. I guess now that we've started, I'll put this on.
Yeah,
the last 4 minutes.
This is great. This is, in fact, my favorite part of the show. When we just okay.
My favorite part of the show is when I get texts about you.
Okay.
This one's going to hurt.
Okay.
Nuño would have made a great compliance person.
I agree with this so far.
They just mean you're a narc, basically. You come off as very narc vibes.
I don't think there's anything wrong with
Billy
that.
got here late. I'm going to take my time. Proceeds to go to break before he could even fully get that sentence out. Here's the thing. Not a narc, but like just such
sounds like that person's a narc. That sounds like that person's
that person
a narc.
is a narc.
Yeah.
Because yours is more like, I think they meant you're just such a rule follower.
Yes, I am.
You know,
if it says 65,
when
maybe
the kids
70.
were all, when you were little and like your friends were all doing stuff and it got a little left of, just took a little step across that imaginary
Mom
red
said
line.
don't cross the street. I didn't cross the street.
Yeah, you're like, hey guys, we got to go. Come on now, we got to get out of here.
That was me. Up until maybe I was 19, and then I went off the rails for a few years. But I would say
That's
most
what
of my
happens.
life.
That's what. By the way, that's what happens. Parenting 101.
Oh, please let
by
Billy. This is
Liucci
rich.
is that you can't.
You can.
You cannot overrule your kids. You cannot give them too many rules, and don't let them slip up from time to time. Don't let them learn along the way, because if you send them off to college and they've
it's interesting,
and they've just been under your thumb for that long, they are going to explode and go crazy. And we all have those people that we know that were like, oh no, I can't do that. Oh no, I can't. And I don't mean like anything significant. I mean everything. No, I can't do that. No, I can't do this. I can't do that.
Billy, I believe
the street lights have come on. I've got to be home. We can't finish this. We can't finish this drive, or we can't finish this half inning to see who wins the game because the street lights are fluttering, and that means if you do that and you get off to college, you could just lose your mind.
Yeah,
and those are the craziest kids.
Or the
in college.
opposite is
they join a fraternity, sorority.
Yeah,
they go off in the Corps. Whatever it is they do, and they get to they find Northgate for the first time, and they go nuts. And speaking of, congratulations to your two young
Thank you very much.
Young men now, which is crazy, who have been accepted into Texas A&M.
Cruz is already what's the next step? Agreed, whatever the.
I don't know.
Yeah,
what that
he's
means.
agreed. He's
accepted.
He was accepted, but then you have to accept the acceptance. What's that called? When you accept
all I
the
know
acceptance.
is we just got like a letter.
Yeah.
And he said, you're in this school, pick.
Yeah.
Mine said A&M in Texas, and I picked A&M.
My kids didn't apply to Texas.
Just saying, for all our other listeners.
I know. I didn't apply to Texas, by the way.
I did. I had no ties to either place. I was going to do engineering, which I did for like 2 years. I did graduate, technically, I guess, from the School of Engineering, Industrial Distribution.
That's what my boys applied to.
What?
ID.
It's a great major. I didn't meet one of my really good friends. I won't say who they are to out them, but they sold their company recently for, just jaw-dropping money. And I come to find out, I've known him for years, and come to find out, ID major. I knew that, but I didn't think about the fact ID major, same time period. And I'm like, oh, I do TexAgs. Maybe I should have used that degree, but no, it's a great degree.
So just to follow up on your parenting advice, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I mean, just let them have some fun. Nuño.
So, or the opposite is you can have somebody that, broke all the rules and continues to break all the rules.
Well, that tends to.
Like showing up late to stuff.
Yeah, that tends to.
I wasn't talking about anybody. I'm just saying in general.
I may have been showing up late since childhood. It's a battle that my parents lost.
I believe you preserve the youth as long as possible, teach them right, and they'll come back home. Yeah.
I want to use the F word so bad for effect of who the blank
Phenomenal with an F.
Who the blank wrote that?
David Nuño.
No, that was like, what?
Yeah.
Who's that? Gary?
Andy Stanley.
Was that Gary Brecka? Like,
no, Gary Brecka. No,
just some kind of like, God forbid you should cite someone of actual,
Craig
someone
Rochelle.
accomplished, like
Craig Rochelle, Andy Stanley. That's where it comes from, bud. I guarantee our audience knows what I'm talking about. Shall we talk some college football?
I would talk anything besides these people that have tricked you. Anything besides these people that
pastors.
If they put a doctor in front of their name, if they put pastor in front of their name, if they've written a book, then they fooled me.
Where do you get your spiritual guidance from, Billy?
Oh God, dude.
Let's move on.
I you know what I do? I keep it private to myself. God forbid you should actually, not expound your religion on everyone.
I didn't. Just said.
That's
where I get it from.
That's where I get that from.
Yeah, well, everybody knows what team I'm on. Anyway, shall we talk about...
Yeah, because so many people thought you were affiliated with Satan. You've had to come in and tell us that.
Can you help us fix college football? That's what we did the last segment on. All right?
Yes.
Because now
I cannot.
You don't have an idea of what you can do to fix all these teams bowing out of these bowls. Now it's 10, according to Nick, at last check. Teams not playing in the bowl games. And how that's going to affect.
They've tried to do stuff with, for individual players. They've tried to backload some NIL stuff to where, you get a sizable chunk of your, like a more than, if you're, say if some programs pay guys monthly, you get a sizable chunk to play in the bowl rather than just your typical monthly. That's what some programs have done. That's just for individual players. Now you have the whole teams doing it. It's no longer really 15 practices in a lot of instances too, so that's part of it as well. Like, when's the Cheez-It Bowl?
I'll allow Ella Ryan to Google because I don't do
Look up Cheez-It Bowl.
Yeah,
that's Michigan and Texas.
New Year's Eve, it says.
Okay, New Year's Eve, and then
that was 2023. Mate, let me check that again.
Okay.
Had that been me, that would have been a problem.
That was the AI thing.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's New Year's Eve still, Wednesday, December 31st.
Ella doesn't try to push her religious and political views on me like you do, so
you were putting on me. You were hold on. You told
I didn't know they were pastors, dude. I thought they were like fitness people. I thought they were like fit. Hey, I work out. Now you have to listen to everything I say and take my life advice and spread it to your children and on your radio show.
You're the one telling me. You gotta
That's
let your
what
kids
I thought they were.
Make mistakes.
Here's how it starts out. Be in shape above 40 years old.
Check.
Give viral social media quotes.
Check.
Put 2 letters DR in front of your name, and Nuño starts calling you a doctor, reading your books, basing his life around what you say and diet, and then coming on the show and trying to make everyone else do the same. And then all of a sudden you mixed in a couple of pastors.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sorry for being fooled there. Ella, what about...
You started it.
The bowl game Notre Dame was that bowed out of.
Was that the Citrus? No, that was...
No, that's what Texas is in.
This is going well.
Listen, we didn't do... A&M bowed out of a bowl per, COVID back in the day, and that got panned badly enough. Now everybody's doing it.
December 27th, Pop-Tart Bowl.
Okay, so the Pop-Tart Bowl... Good job, Ella. The Pop-Tart Bowl, December 27th. So they're not getting that many practices. Like, it doesn't change anything. I think people have finally maybe come to the realization a little bit that there's a little coach speak involved there, and that maybe those practices are beneficial, but they probably to some of these programs now realize if all of our best players aren't going to play, it's not even a game. It is just practices, and it's going to set back. You run the risk of injury. Like when Jalen Henderson broke his arm on the first play against Oklahoma State in a completely meaningless game, had that been your starting, let's say you had a star freshman quarterback, or let's just say like Texas is playing in the bowl and it's Arch Manning, okay? And I don't even want to say him because I don't want to do any young QB that we all want to say, hey, he's a leader. He needs to play in that bowl game. So he's in the Pop-Tart Bowl. Okay, we can do this one because he's not playing. C.J. Carr goes out there in the Pop-Tart Bowl. gets a broken arm like what Jalen Henderson had, or an ACL or an Achilles, something that could cost him the whole next year. It is very hard. That part of it makes me go, I don't know how I'd feel about playing in these bowl games anymore when it's a 12-team playoff. And when, look, say for the SEC, 5 of your teams from that league went to the playoffs. A third of your conference is in the playoff. Those are the games that matter to SEC teams. The way Notre Dame did it, bowing out after the day of getting left out of the playoff, it didn't reek of sour grapes. It was sour grapes. It was taking your ball and going home. It was saying, you didn't let us into your party, so we're leaving. I can't get up into that room, so I'm leaving, and everybody else can stay, but I'm out of here. Like, it was a really bad look for Notre Dame. I haven't even bothered to listen to their AD was on.
I think they're having a press conference today, too.
They're like, I don't want to hear any justification. I'm sure that with 24 hours go by, they can have reasons that people will make you go, oh, but I'm not buying it. It's embarrassing. But there is a bigger picture there. Like, I would not play CJ Carr in a bowl game. That bowl game. I would not play. Obviously, Jeremiah Love's not going to play. Like, if one of their best defenders is a sophomore, I would not play him. Like, what is the benefit? I don't see the benefit. And I've always been one to say, well, then you should sit your whole team against Samford, or when you're out of the SEC race in that final SEC weekend, then why did LSU just not sit a bunch of dudes against OU? Because what does it really matter? But it's still an SEC game. It's still a regular season game. But when you're going to say, okay, now we're going to take weeks off, and then we're going to go play a game that truly doesn't matter, that a bunch of my own players, as a player, my own teammates aren't playing in, some of their best players aren't playing, what are we doing here? So I don't know how to get it back. I really don't. You can incentivize those kids some. I guess you can incentivize the program, but they already do. They make money. And a lot of these programs don't need that level of money. And you can't raise that level of money. So then it becomes, do you punish? And that's why I think maybe the conferences need to punish the programs for not playing. But then do the programs just go, okay, we'll play, but I'm going to sit all my starters. I'm going to play Notre Dame. Okay, you're going to make me, they're not in the conference, so. But if you were, they made you play. Okay, you're going to make me play. I'm going to sit everybody.
Iowa State and K-State did get fined by the Big 12. Let's hit a break.
Did they?
Yeah.
But obviously not enough.
No.
$500K.
Okay. See?
We're talking Rollo Insurance Group that builds lasting relationships through education, helping you understand what you're buying and the why behind it with expertise in everything from home to auto to business and specialty coverage. Their independent agents provide an option tailored to your specific needs. They take time to explain it in plain language so you know that you're never left wondering about your coverage. Their educational approach empowers you to make informed decisions about protecting your family, your home, and your business. Many of their clients discover competitive rates by simply understanding their options. Experience the difference at one of their 60-plus locations in the great state of Texas, and they're all over the place, by the way. Visit rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, or go to 888-44-ROLLO. As a reminder, the final segment of the program brought to you by Double Dave's is at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150 will hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with a reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. And as a reminder, they are not open on Mondays. So Dave and Edmund came at Billy a little bit.
So here's the thing.
Yes, sir.
We're reading this, Dave, because I said he could read it. I just want you to know that. But go ahead.
He's been eliminated.
Normally, I would not want to give you the attention, but I do have a response to this.
You want the whole thing or just part?
Sure, I'll read the whole thing.
Nuño, I followed you. You were talking about parenting and brought up pastors. Not your fault. Billy's clueless. The other part says, older single people are the most selfish people on the planet, never take any advice from a single guy in his 50s. LOL.
Dave, I'm going to let you in on something. I could give you some advice on some things that you might want to take, as you're the guy sitting here texting in incessantly to a radio show. So just because you're presumably married with kids, you're the one that gets triggered by stuff that's said on a radio show by people you don't know every day. So there is something there. There's probably a lot of other things you could listen to me and take some advice on. But what I will say is this. Here's my real advice. Get a damn sense of humor, dude. Don't just sit up there in Edmond, Oklahoma, messaging me about opening cigar stores over the years. Don't just sit up there and do that crap and then send texts like this. Like, have a sense of humor. Anyone that's listening knows we were joking except you. And just because you put an LOL on the end of it doesn't change the fact that you're trying to be a jerk. So
I think we should hit a break after that.
You do want to?
Yeah.
Because I can keep going. Like, here's the other part.
We got 10 seconds.
Here's the other part. Don't read me any more David Edmond texts. Like, I don't like the guy.
He just said Billy's the best. Okay.
No, he's out.
I won't read
He's
it.
out. He's out.
We'll hit a break.
David Edmond's done.
When we come back, we'll do a show. hour of playoff talk here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy, home game, Kyle Field, playoff matchup against Miami. And if I remember correctly, and Ella, you can fact check me, I believe every home team won their game last year in the first round, and I believe this is the only round that would have had home games. Fairly sure that I'm right about that. So hold serve, take care of business, Billy, but we've got ourselves a home matchup. I am right. Thank you, Nick. Home matchup against Miami.
I mean, I love, like, do you like college football?
I love it.
Do you like seeing your team play against the premier programs in the sport, like historically? Do you like going to Kyle Field with 100,000 of your friends and seeing how loud you can make that place and how much of a difference you can make? Do you like seeing your team? Like, I'm being serious here. Like, I know I want to see A&M in the second round of this playoff. I want the Aggies, I want everyone's New Year's to revolve around Aggie football this year, and not in a Cheez-It Bowl, not in a Pop-Tart Bowl, but in a bowl that really and truly matters. And oh, by the way, that just happens to be the Cotton Bowl where everyone can get to with ease and where A&M fans can flood the place. Would you rather me give you a free ticket? My answer is yes. I would rather have gotten the bye, which is an actual free ticket. Had you gotten the bye, you would have been in Miami as a 4 seed, is what would have, well, yeah, after losing to Texas, it would. If you'd have gotten the bye, if they'd have gone strictly off, strength of schedule, strength of record, and we think, that's fine. I would love to have gotten that bye as a 2 seed, beat Texas, win the SEC, you get that bye, and then you're probably in the Cotton Bowl or the Sugar. Would you rather me just say, hey, you're going to watch A&M play James Madison, and all you're going to worry about is injury, and you're going to be hanging out, yapping it up with all your buddies by halftime, or Tulane, who has no chance to beat you? Or would you rather a showcase game with College Game Day and with I don't know, whoever else is going to decide to come cover this thing? I think maybe the ACC network, which, by the way, might mean Jimbo being back at their studio or their on-field show, which would be wild. In the biggest, OU Alabama's right there too. Friday night, Saturday, the biggest game of this first round, playing against a several-time national championship program, historic, storied program like the U, and watch those uniforms come in here and be truly tested and go to the stadium hopeful and believing in your team, but with that uncomfortable feeling that, yeah, we know we can lose today because this team is good. It's a showcase football game for your program. It is a test to say, how good are you? And to me, this is not one of those things where if Texas A&M loses in the first round, we're going to feel like, man, if they could have just got by that one, they could have won the national title. No. To win it, you have to beat Ohio State. You're probably going to have to beat Georgia, and then you're going to have to beat somebody in the final. So if you can't beat Miami at home, you weren't going to win it. And I'm not saying that Miami's a bad team, but they're not as good as some of those teams. They're not as good as Ohio State and Georgia.
Right.
So whatever's in your path, you got to win your home playoff game anyway. So why not make it a challenge? Why not make it a showcase? Why not make it pretty epic? And I'm okay with it because Texas A&M this year has been the better team. The pieces might look really similar in terms of like overall talent level, NFL prospects, quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, lines of scrimmage. I think it looks pretty well balanced, but A&M's been the better team all year. You know why? Because they didn't lose to Arkansas. They didn't lose to South Carolina, whereas Miami did lose to Louisville. They did lose to SMU, and they didn't survive those games. They both beat Notre Dame. They both beat Florida. Miami couldn't survive, and then they didn't have the test that A&M did. Miami, they lost at SMU at 11 a.m. They didn't go win in Death Valley at night. They didn't have to go to some of those spots. They didn't play. The ACC just didn't really have anyone. Their biggest test in conference play, honestly, was probably Pitt. Because if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, one of y'all, I'm pretty sure they lost to Louisville at home. I watched that game. I feel like that was a home game. I'm almost positive it was. There it is. What does it say?
Louisville was at home.
Yeah, so they didn't, nowhere in that schedule where they truly tested in any capacity compared to what A&M was throughout SEC play. They beat Notre Dame at home. So I'm okay with the challenge because what are we doing? Ducking the challenges? Well, you want to play, here's my deal. Do you want to play, what's the easiest path you could draw up? I guess it's Tulane, or I guess it's James Madison, then Tech, right?
No.
I mean, for Oregon, like I know Tech is not as good as Georgia or Ohio State, but a lot of that's also matchup. You don't know, like defenses like Tech and OU, if they can speed your quarterback up and fluster your best player, the guy that helps you win, and that could be a really bad matchup for, like, say if Dante Moore can't handle that Tech pressure, that could be a really bad matchup for Oregon. I don't know that it will or not, but I'm saying like OU and Ty Simpson, I think he kind of carved them up, but he had several turnovers in that game. They got to the quarterback, and that's Bama's best way to win is through Ty Simpson. So it's a bad matchup. So once you get into that realm, it's not like anything's that much easier than the other, in my opinion. This year especially. Georgia's not invincible, even though they look like it's Saturday. I think they're the team you don't want to play. Ohio State certainly didn't look like it in scoring all of one touchdown against Indiana. By the way, they struggled for a large part of that game against Michigan as well. So give me Miami at Kyle Field. My only problem at Kyle, I was excited because it was going to be Miami. It was going to be a blue blood of college football. It was going to be the U. It was going to be the Roll Tide. It was going to be Boomer Sooner. Or it was going to be the Fighting Irish. The last one I wanted was Notre Dame just because of the rematch in the same season, and it's a team you beat. But when A&M was at that 7, that was the benefit of it. That was the benefit. I didn't want to go to 8 and play 1 and have to travel all the way out to the Rose Bowl if you get to the second round.
Right.
But you're at home in a showcase game, and then you go play in Dallas if you win it against the defending national champs. The dot in the I and the Buckeyes and Brutus and all their history and the Fighting Texas Aggie band and all the A&M history in the Cotton Bowl, a place where everybody on this roster played last year and several of them have played at least 3 times. So sign me up for that. Sign me up for this bracket and this draw because, my God, dude.
Well, Billy, I also think that not that opinions matter outside of that building, right? Like my opinion, your opinion, Marty Smith, fans, it doesn't matter. But if you would have played a James Madison in round 1 or a Tulane, I think there would still be like, well, but who have they beat? You beat Miami, I think you silence who have you beat? Because I think Miami is perceived to be one of these real players.
Yeah, and people are going to be split on who wins this game.
Yeah.
Like the media. Here's my deal. If you're a fan of this stuff, right? Like, I go back and think of the Astros and some of their runs where, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I'm right on this. Ella, you're a Ranger fan, right?
I'm kind of indifferent.
Kind of,
but during the World Series,
you were an Astros fan during that run, right?
During the 2017 and 2020.
Obviously, yeah. Hence, I probably saw you at the games. But 2017, okay?
Yes, sir.
You beat, if you're the Houston Astros.
You beat, I believe, the Braves.
Greatest postseason run, I think, in Houston sports history. You beat the Red Sox, because I was at that game where Altuve hit 3 home runs to clinch that. I think it was a sweep. You beat the Yankees in Game 7 that I was at, and I skipped the presidential thing with Lady Gaga, which was a tough call. Because Lady Gaga in concert would have been great. But I went to Game 7, was there, and then they beat the Dodgers to win the World Series. And I was at Game 2 in LA, and I was at Game 5 in Houston. You beat the Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Very few teams in Major League history of that sport can say that they beat teams of that level. That would have been impressive in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, 90s, whatever, to say, man, we beat the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Dodgers to win the World Series. It's incredible. And who are they? They're the Astros, with their no World Series championships until that point. Their one World Series berth until that point. That's not that dissimilar to A&M. So what a perception, whatever, because it does matter for the future of your program. And every team wants to fight for respect. Every group of players, every individual athlete, every coach. But it's really more important moving forward. So, like, you're going to put Miami, Ohio State, Georgia, and then whoever in front of us. There would be nothing more epic than that. And if you're going to go in a season where we won in South Bend, we won in Death Valley, we beat Notre Dame, we beat LSU, we beat Florida. I know they stunk this year. That's Florida. That's Urban Meyer. That's Tim Tebow. That's Steve Spurrier. They're a not blue blood. They're a power program and national championship, multiple time program. You went and beat, and then you lost to Texas. So there's 4. You're 3-1 in those 4. If you beat Miami and you're 4-1 in 5 games against national championship programs, and then you go to, and by the way, I'm not even counting Auburn. You go to Cotton Bowl and play another one in Ohio State. So in the same year, we've watched Texas A&M. We would have watched them play Ohio State, Miami, LSU, Texas, Notre Dame, and Florida. It's what you sign up for as a fan. We've been waiting for this. Just like A&M's run to the College World Series final a couple years ago. You went through the whole SEC, Florida, Kentucky, 3-0 against them, beat Tennessee, you're 4-0 against the SEC in Omaha, and then you finally, go down to the Vols. Sign me up for it because it's unforgettable. It's fun. If you win this game, it really sets up for something that I think Aggie fans will remember for a long time. And I'm thinking of LSU when they won it in 2019. And I'm not comparing the teams, but I'm saying LSU went through, they went up to Austin early in the season. They played a heavy SEC schedule that year. They beat Alabama. Then they went into the SEC title game. They beat Georgia. Then they went on and they beat Oklahoma. And in the championship, they beat Clemson. Like, that, how much different does it feel if you get to go through that type of path versus, we skipped around, we got really lucky. It's like the team, it's like if the first ever A&M basketball team goes to an Elite Eight and they play a 14 seed in round 1, and then they clip a couple of upset Cinderellas and play nothing but mid-majors. So they go 3-0 and they're in the Elite Eight, but they didn't play anyone. It'd be great because we've never done it, but it's like, yeah, it'd be a lot cooler if you had to go through, Kansas or Duke somewhere along the way. Line them up, man. Line them the hell up.
Billy, I think if you're Ohio State, you're not loving this draw, in my opinion, because you are taking on a team that was a 1 seed or top 4 seed 95% of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, in your first matchup. And oh, by the way, you're doing it in Texas. And Juracek was like, yeah, we thought about Miami, but it would be too much of a home field advantage in Miami if Miami wins. Not as much in DFW.
Well, okay. I think all he was saying was it's Miami's actual home field.
Yeah.
They're going to be playing in front of a lot more A&M fans if the Aggies win than they would have had they been playing in Miami.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, you're right. Ohio State, that's the other thing. These teams have to play A&M. And I know, like, the Aggies have to play better football than they have been. You and I talked about the other day, you said for a month. I'm going, maybe for a calendar month, because in between there is Samford, where it was scrimmage, but it's 2 games, and it's 2 halves. It is weird, and if they do 2 halves against Miami, they'll lose. If they do 2 halves against Ohio State, they'll get smoked. I mean, 1 half of each. It's 2 halves in 4 games. Again, they looked really bad. They got outscored, what? 30-3 and 24-7. So 54-10 in 2 halves against South Carolina and Texas. That's disgusting. And then they outscored those same 2 teams, including Texas on the road, 38-3 in the other 2 quarters. So it's a weird. It just shows. I would say this team has been inconsistent, and the difference in the last couple games is they've also been bad in a half. Like they were behind against LSU at halftime, where it wasn't a great.
But you
half.
thought they were the better team.
It was a rough second quarter, but it wasn't even whether I thought they were better or not. I still think they're the better team than Texas. Now they weren't on Friday, and we said before it's not a big gap, but I mean the year tells me that. And watching that game again, I think if those 2 teams played again, they probably don't have 2 receivers that just get uncovered, not because of like some creative. I don't think Sark thought those guys were going to be completely uncovered on those plays. Is all I'm saying. So you look, I think A&M would be better. They were better than LSU. They were better than, was it Missouri was 7-0 game a little bit before halftime. That's what you and I were talking, because you were saying you thought they didn't look good against Missouri. And I'm like, they beat Missouri by 21. That after that, Missouri played a much tougher game against Oklahoma. They went and beat Arkansas and somebody else that wasn't that good. But you went on the road and beat them by 21. It was 21-0. It never got closer than 14. It was 14-0. You had a shutout at halftime. You put 38 up on a team that most teams don't score close to that many on. You looked really good in that game. That, forget Pribula wasn't playing. Well, look at them after that game. Their defense is really good. You put up 38. You basically took knees at the 10-yard line, essentially. Ran it right up the middle to not score 45 on them. So 3-0 against Mississippi State with 3 minutes left or so in the half. You beat them 31-9. Like, this team has had stretches where they've had rough quarters
that's football.
But they haven't played bad football until the last 2 SEC games. And that is a concern. They haven't played bad football. The first half against South Carolina was horrific football. And the second half against Texas was really bad football. But the other 2 halves in those games, they played pretty damn good football. Yeah. I know that offensively against Texas they weren't, but that has a lot more to do with Texas playing great defense. They were playing elite defense. But you're up 7 on the road getting the ball. So where this bad football has come in is my bigger concern. So they're going to have to come out and play. They're going to have to play not 4 perfect quarters. And we've talked all year that, hey, one of these games is going to happen. I don't know that it is. But I think 3 outstanding quarters and then 1 quarter where you don't stink, I think that makes this team really, really hard to beat. So I think they needed the rest, honestly. Like, they're not beat up, like, I think any more than other teams this time of year. But get Le'Veon Moss back. We talked about that yesterday. Get Scooby Williams back would be really significant. Just for that depth at linebacker, have 3 of those type guys. They played Noah McKell a lot the other day. Noah's going to be a great linebacker. I really think so. But Scooby's a veteran, played a ton of SEC football, and really knows what he's doing out there and will fly around. So you add him to the mix. You add Moss. But I think that as big as anything else is getting 1, 7, and 3 at 100% speed and health, which I think is exactly what's happening, and then get Marcel, whatever. And I haven't heard anything about anything significant at all from that injury against Texas. We all saw him go back in and run around, but I'm just saying, like, let him, had they played in the SEC title game, whatever those guys had, they're going to try to play through it because it's the SEC title game. Probably gets a little worse before it gets better. Now you're only 2 weeks out. Like, watch Bama against OU. They look like the walking wounded. So I think in a way that was a real blessing. And you get the home game. I think if we know anything about Yurachek and the boys, dirty Mike and the boys, Yurachek and the boys over there on the selection committee, had A&M lost that SEC title game, they were dropping out of the top 4, which would have been absolute BS. They would have dropped them they would have dropped them probably for,
6.
No, I think they would have dropped them to 5 though, right out, just out of it. So you had to play that, and you'd be playing 2 weeks later. You'd been playing 2 weeks later at home, and then you'd have been going to Miami to play Texas Tech.
All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back with more. If your organization or business is looking for an opportunity to engage with Aggies, then you need to check out the Association of Former Students that brings Aggies of all ages together during their marquee events held throughout the year. These events include Aggie Ring Day, All Aggie Hullabaloo, The Gathering. They all welcome tens of thousands of guests, and there are many sponsorship and vendor opportunities to get your brand in front of those attendees. And these events offer a wide variety of both digital and in-person options to promote your brand. And this includes title sponsorship naming, on-site presence, activation, recognition, social media posts, and much, much more. There's also advertising opportunities in both the Texas Aggie Magazine and the Aggie News newsletter, which are seen by over 230,000 people. So if your business is ready to engage with Aggies, choose a partner with the organization that's been supporting the Aggie Network for over 140 years. For more information on options available through the association, please email sponsorships@aggienetwork.com. It is the Association of Former Students. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. So this matchup, Billy's got two quarterbacks that at different points of this season were in the Heisman conversation. Early on for Carson Beck, for sure.
Yeah.
And then for most of the second half of the season for Marcel Reed, except for the Texas game, right? That's where he kind of fell out of that conversation.
Yeah.
So you got two quarterbacks that, when they're at their best, can absolutely beat you. Let's just...
And they've also thrown some picks,
yes,
some mistakes and some big moments. For Carson Beck, in I think both of their losses,
yep,
actually. I watched that SMU game.
I think Beck had 6 interceptions in the 2 games that they lost against SMU and Louisville.
I think it goes without saying, and it's the same thing Miami's thinking, like both these teams, you've got to get pressure. And I don't want to go too much into this game breakdown, so I'll just leave it at this for now. You've got to get pressure on Carson Beck or Marcel Reed. Either one of those guys with time can kill you. Beck, because he's played a ton of football, and when he's hot, I mean, this guy's had 400-yard games against, I might only be slightly exaggerating, but I mean, he's had 400-yard games against good teams. He's played in SEC title games. He's played, in some of the biggest games. If you let him get in a rhythm and get hot, it's a problem. With Marcel, if you let him get in a rhythm and get hot and start getting the ball to those receivers and spreading it around, it's a problem. And for Marcel, if he has time to sit back there and throw, then as these DBs run around and cover, the longer they're stuck in coverage, the more the running lanes open up, and then he can go take off and kill you with his legs too. I think the hard part for both teams is going to be, can you stop the running game? Because if either of these quarterbacks can play ahead of the chains and implement and utilize play action, that's when they'll kill you, both of them. So obviously, and it's also fascinating because then you got Howell on one side, you've got Bain on the other. You've got two groups that can get after the quarterback, led by two of the best pass rushers. I know, guys, if you're an Aggie, don't use the 4.5 sacks by Bain this year as some kind of thing to say Howell's so much better. I think Cassius he's definitely done a better job getting to the quarterback. He hasn't fattened up stats against lesser teams either. He's doing a ton of damage in the SEC. But on a given snap, when the ball's snapped and either one of those dudes are going up against a tackle, it is a nightmare for said tackle. So for both of Miami's, both of A&M's, they're going to have their hands full. So don't get too caught up in that thing. This dude is elite. He's an elite NFL prospect. He gets after it. So these teams, they're very similar, I think, kind of approaches in what they want to do in this football game. I like A&M at home, and I like A&M with the mobile quarterback, but it's just it's a very evenly matched football game.
For what A&M has struggled with this year, I would say I would much rather take on a pocket passer in Beck than I would a mobile quarterback. He's got 39 rushing yards this season. His best game was running against USF for 28 yards. He had another game with 17 yards against SMU.
Yeah, he's not a runner.
But he's not going to run on you.
And neither is Julian Sand, who Indiana got after and made look very, very pedestrian, very mortal. I wouldn't say pedestrian, but very mortal with the pressure they were able to get. And I think those Ohio State tackles look shaky against Indiana's pass rushers too. So, yeah. I look at a bracket and I don't see Gunnar Stockton and his ability to run and move. And I think, okay, I'm glad they're not. I'm going to tell you this. Even had they been at an 8-9, John Mateer has not been good this year. He's very reckless with the football. But he does some things that are problematic for A&M. And both those quarterbacks get you in the QB run game as well. So, yeah, I'm okay with the draw for the A&M defense. But I do think you got to understand Carson Beck's won a lot of football games. He's had some big games against good teams. He's played in environments and venues. You have to get him behind the chains because the difference in a comfortable, rhythmic Carson Beck versus an uncomfortable, unsettled Carson Beck, it's night and day. And you can really, really
pressure him into some mistakes.
He had 2 interceptions against USF just for your
another
awareness.
good defense
Yep.
that gets after you.
And he threw 1 against Pitt at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And those are games that they won. But
like I said, if he's comfortable in rhythm, that's a problem for A&M. Same thing, though, for Miami. If Marcel Reed gets comfortable and in rhythm, again, that tells me A&M's running the football. That tells me Colin Klein's calling a great game. That tells me that means that Concepcion, Craver, Bethel Roman, some combination of those guys are getting the football. It's a problem for Miami.
Moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. There's car buying, then there's the Caldwell Country difference. They have a strong and very committed sales staff that brings decades of experience to the table with one goal, complete customer satisfaction. You've got folks that have bought their dream SUVs from them. They've some folks have bought their dream trucks from them at great prices. And they don't just make sales, they make relationships. That's why they offer the complimentary pickup and delivery for their service customers, because they know that your time is valuable. And the Caldwell Country Chevrolet promise is simple. They treat every customer like family, and family deserves the best, including their free oil change for life during the life of that purchase, as long as you own it. It's about a 15-minute drive the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and you do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. Yes, sir. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. It's time to talk a little Aggie basketball following last night's heartbreaking loss, 93-80 in overtime to SMU. We go to the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Bucky McMillan joining us here on the program. Bucky, thanks for joining us, man. How are you?
Hey, what's up, guys? You doing okay?
Yes, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Doing
I guess
good, Buck.
just start you off with your takeaways from yesterday's heartbreaker.
Yeah, I mean, recap. I mean, we had some good in that game for sure. I wanted to see us when we didn't shoot it well, beat a really good team, and that's probably an in-state tournament team, I would imagine. They're a top 35 team right now and can keep climbing. And we didn't shoot it well in the first half, and we found our way. In the first half, we went 1 for 17 from three, fought all the way back. Shooting in regulation a little bit better than after overtime, but found ourselves up 4 points with 40 seconds left with the ball. And so that was all a lot of positives, to show our growth. That was the best team we've played. That team beat Oklahoma State in their exhibition by double figures and on a neutral site. And so showed a lot of growth, not shooting the ball well to find ourselves in that spot. That's the positive. And guess what? If that game had ended there with 40 seconds up 4 with the ball, we'd be sitting here saying, man, we would have won 6 straight. We got a great chance to be 11-2 with these 3 home games coming up in the non-league. But we didn't close it out, and that was very disappointing. When you're up 4, after you fight back and you got the ball with the timeout, you just got to be able to close it out. And we had some we went into the game with 4 turnovers in regulation.
Yeah.
Which can't ever happen. It just can't happen. And the consequences are high when you do that versus a very good team, very good players with little margin for error.
Bucky, when you probably knew while it was happening, but even with time to kind of go back and watch the tape and evaluate, those turnovers there at the end, did you feel like they were more pressure related, meaning whether it be SMU's pressure or game pressure, or did you feel like they were more careless type turnovers?
It's a good question. The first one that kind of started their deal was just a careless errant pass. And, I do know we got some guys that have been out, that have been injured, just getting back, so I don't know what the game flow, if it's off to them right now. But, the first one was just a play that I don't, as some of our veteran players, I just never see that happen. And I don't know the reason for the first one. It wasn't an execution thing. There wasn't much to it. They were just going to kind of come down across half court and probably start fouling us. And we kind of flipped it away. And then the second one we had, they gave them a little hope with that. Now we're up 2 with the ball with 35 seconds, and they're probably going to have to foul here, too. They got a little full-court press. They throw it in. We have a timeout. And we throw it in 28 seconds on the shot clock, meaning we have 8 more seconds on the 10 count, and we throw a ball up for grabs as they go get and score. That's a little out of character for us. That had something to do. They did pressure us, but it was just a little early for us to make some of those decisions. And we didn't get a shot up late in the last play, and when we got the ball back in the tie game, we're in a ball screen. They played good defense, and we turned that over. And again, I know that some of these spots were guys who've been out a little bit, but I know that our guys, I've seen them, I know they're better than that. Mm-hmm. I know that. I know we're better than that. That's not a fault, a player fault. I know we are better than that with what we showed the last 40 seconds. But I don't want to take away from the great positives that we were there to beat a good team. There on a neutral site game and had that game under control and didn't pull it out. Overtime was overtime. We did not make a shot. We literally didn't. We went 0 for whatever it was, 8 or 9 or 10, 12. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
And they rose up, and their key players made shots in the game. But the game probably, you got to rerun that 40 seconds. And we watched it probably about 40 times. And we got to learn from it, and we'll be in that spot again, obviously. But we're close. I will say this. We're a lot closer than we were at Oklahoma State. We can see the improvement of the team, and we just got to keep plugging along and let this be a lesson and see how we can correct some of these mistakes.
Yeah, and I know how I can't imagine your frustration because watching the UCF game and this one, and you said could be 11-2. I could be 12-1 here. Like just these moments in these games. But as you look at the totality of it, because also last week we didn't get to talk because it was game day. A big win at Pitt, going. I don't care who you're playing. Going halfway across the country in December is tough. And to do it on a weeknight in December against an ACC team, I thought that was a really nice win. Florida State, that's the day of the A&M Texas game, so that I feel like didn't get the run that it should have. You go and you're 2-1 against the ACC here in the last week. When you look at this team, like you said, hey, we didn't finish. We're 40 seconds away. The game's 40 minutes. It's not 39. But as you look at this basketball team, I can imagine the frustration, but at the same time, how encouraged are you when you're looking at the tape going in practices or whatever in terms of this basketball team's getting steadily better? It's steadily improving.
Well, yeah, we're getting a lot better. That's for sure. We're all competitors.
Mm-hmm.
We all want to flip the switch and be great. Once we have the players, now it's how much better can we get every single game, every single practice, and we're significantly better. There's no question about that, and we got to keep taking the next step forward. I mean, if you looked at it, we're 40 seconds away, and we sure could have won the UCF game, but that game last night, if you would have told us, hey, listen, you got a chance to get to pull that out and come home, win 3 games that you're probably going to be a good favorite in, be 11-2 in the non-league with 2 of your losses coming without McKenzie. If you told us that before the season, we'd have to say, hey, man, that's probably right where we need to be.
Yeah.
Now we're probably 1 game behind here. You know what I'm saying? We're 1 game behind. So let's go make up for it. Let's go make up for it, and let's learn from this. And maybe if we do the right stuff that, hey, we learn from this, it helps us win 2 games that we wouldn't have won if we didn't learn from this one. And I think that's got to be the challenge and the focus of this team,
Yeah.
And I want to say this. I really appreciate all the fans who made it over there last night. We felt them when we were, we were making our run. We're a high-variance team, so 10 points isn't anything to us, but no one left. Everyone's fighting there with us, and they were a big part of our comeback to go ahead and take that lead. It was great feeling everybody.
Bucky, what do these next couple of weeks look like where you've got, the 2 Sunday games, Jacksonville and also East Texas, just allowing you guys more time at the gym, obviously. Just what do these next couple of weeks look like?
Well, the great part is with these games coming up, we get about 1 game a week. So we're going to get to practice. And these guys who have been injured, who've been sick, who've been out, we're going to be able to catch these guys up. And I think that's going to be really important because it's not like you're playing a game every other day. So you're going to get, 5-6 days of good practice here for 2 or 3 weeks, and I think we're going to make some pretty big strides here.
That is Bucky McMillan on the Bucky's Catering Bartending Hotline. Bucky, we appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Buck.
Appreciate you very much, Bucky McMillan.
Yeah, that was a tough one for them. But I'm watching them, and you see where they're getting better and better. And I think just more time. I think this is going to be a solid team in SEC play. I do. The more I watch them, the more you just see wild. And part of it, I think, has to do with that they're just they rotate and play a lot of guys, which is a good thing. But you also see these wild variances in how individually they play each week. Just wild swings, and whether it be you look at Aggie in the 2 games this past week. You look at Marcus Hill. You could go on. And I think once all these Rylan Griffin's two games this week were wildly different. And that's not completely uncommon. But as you start to get more consistency from these individual players that are really showing you what they look like when they're playing well, and more of them start doing that consistently, I think this basketball team stands to get a lot better. And you can kind of see it coming, but there is, man, it sucks that there is a transition and a learning curve. And it's the weird part of the game nowadays is that a lot of these guys, will be gone next year off the
Right.
team. You have to kind of do that. You have to kind of buy your way into cobbling a group together for 1 year, and you really hope to
Kinda
have
do
hit
it
the
again.
ground running and getting to like they really could have been 11-1 in this non-conference or 10-2. Forget about UCF, like you said. Like if your last three you finish that 40 seconds and you're 3-0 against the ACC. I know they're not powers in that league, but it's 3-0 against quality programs in
Right.
that conference, and I don't give a damn what they are. It's ACC. Man, you would have felt great going into conference play, knowing there was still a lot to work on. But because there's so many different pieces, and because it's a completely new system to every one of these players, except for Josh Holloway, this is the most transitional of transitional non-conference runs. And then you factor in the injuries to Pop and to McKenzie during the preseason. It makes it that much more hectic and hodgepodge. It would have been a really nice win, but like you said, you got to make up for it now. And just the key is getting this team ready to be at their best during SEC play, whatever that looks like. And I think it's going to look pretty damn competitive. I also don't think the league is what it was a year ago, which is good news for a team in the first year under a head coach.
Milliken Reserve Time, Farm to Table community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got farms, they got wide open spaces. And the neighborhoods at Milliken Reserve are nothing like your typical subdivisions. They're based entirely on the Brazos Valley landscape and heritage, closely linked to the land with deep Texas roots. There's no place like Milliken Reserve. Some of the neighborhoods in that I'm going to talk about: the Creek, homes on 10-plus acre wooded estates. You've got the Hollow and a private and gated community. And the Meadows, those homes are responsive to their natural surroundings, following the lead of early local Texas architecture. Milliken Reserve is rooted in Texas soil, and if it sounds like a place for you, check out the website, millikenreserve.com. That website again, millikenreserve.com. Final segment of the program. This is refreshing. Clark Lee, not blaming anyone besides themselves for not getting into the CFP, says it's no one's fault but our own. We had opportunities and didn't do well enough. I appreciate that. Somebody he says we had our opportunities, we didn't do enough.
We were not the victims trying to play a game in Puerto Rico a week ago.
That's great.
So,
that would have been awesome.
I like Clark Lee. I like what he's done at Vandy. I like what Pavia has brought to the game of college football. I got no complaints with anything Clark Lee says or does. It is funny, though. He's like, but I get what he's doing. Like, God, we just want to be in this thing. And I don't think they should. They might should, but JMU and Tulane should be out. They need to really sit down and revisit and reevaluate those rules. There should be some cutoff that if you're in this, in the final CFP rankings, then you're in. If you're not, you're out. Hell, they're going to give Notre Dame that starting next year. If you're going to do it for Notre Dame, do it for Group of 5. Notre Dame and G5. You're both in the top 12, you're in. That's fine. I still think it's BS for Notre Dame. You ought to make it if you're in the top 8 because you don't play in a conference. At least those teams play in a conference. And they're less likely to be in the top 12, right? So if I'm Notre Dame, yeah, I'm canceling games and I'm playing a cake schedule, and I'm going to hope that I'm going to play one big game, and I'm going to hope that we win it. I'm going to hope that my name, brand, and logo get me in there. I know if we do win that one big game, we will be in. And if we lose it, we could still go 11-1. We'll have a pretty good chance to be in the top 12 because we're Notre Dame. It's a cheat code. It's BS. It shouldn't be there. 2 teams out of Notre Dame, well, they should be in. I would do it like a last-second ruling and kick JMU out, which obviously I'm exaggerating, but I mean Notre Dame should be in. And then one of the 3 out of Texas, BYU, and Vandy should be in. My opinion actually would be Texas. If I'm going off of the wins versus the conference, BYU should be out. Go cry over there in Utah. I think it should be those 2 teams out and those 2 teams in, but it's not.
See you mañana.